been a little while, Ryan Tyler. It's been a little while. And they say good things come to those that wait. Well, I've been waiting. We've been waiting to be able to start the show in this particular way. Browns! Yeah! I did the guards. We done some cows. Oh, boy, has it been a while to be able to start the show with a little Victory Monday for the Cleveland Browns. Man, do I love beating the Ravens, too. I'm getting texts from my Steelers family members. We're all in this together. Everybody hates the Ravens. You get it done. Jameis provides that spark. Offensive line played well. Defense was physical. And that game was only for one person yesterday. We know who it was. We're going to remember Jim Donovan on the show this morning. But an emotional win for the Cleveland Browns. A potential season-saving win in a couple of different ways. We'll hear from Jameis. We'll hear from Kevin Stefanski. We can't wait to hear from Coach Ken Dorsey calling the plays yesterday. But what that game meant yesterday was just that flip at quarterback. And I sent the tweet. It's unequivocal. At this moment, you know as a quarterback. I know as a quarterback. You get that change. You keep things going for just a little bit. And the Browns get the win. And we will celebrate right here on a Victory Monday. Welcome to the show, everybody. I am Matt Fontana. He is Ryan Tyler. Yeah! What a win for the Browns yesterday. And I don't want to boil it down to make it sound so easy and simple. Like, it was just Jameis Winston got in there. But he had a big part in it. You score 20 points for the first time. You get a 300-yard passer for the first time. Do we go over 400 yards of total offense yesterday, too? I mean, you had it all going for the Cleveland Browns. You had it all going. And there were key moments of that game. Obviously, Kyle Hamilton dropping that interception. And, that's part of beating a good team like that. Some things have to go your way. Still can't get out of our way with some of these freaking penalties, man. The fumble from Jameis, all that. We're going to get to it coming up as we talk about that win for the Cleveland Browns yesterday. It was an emotional one. And getting that news on Saturday that sucks so bad. And I'm going to miss Jim a lot. We all are. And, the thing about Jim, I'm going to take out doing this job and the honor that I had to get to know Jim. I'm like all of you out there. He felt like family. And I think for Jim, he transcended generations. Players came and go. Coaches came and went, There was always Jim and Deke. And there were so many people out there that on Sundays, you turn the radio on. You were like, as technology got better, I remember the time that you couldn't sync your TV up or you couldn't pause a stream on your phone, and try and sync it up so you could listen to Jim and also be able to watch the game on TV. We eventually got there, but, I just thought about so much of the power of that position that Jim had where he impacted all of us and did it for 20 plus years. Did it with an enthusiasm and an energy. And the one thing that I also wanted to bring up about Jim Donovan this morning, he kept it real. There was tough times with this football team. And Jim told you what it was. He would call it for what it is. And however many times I interviewed him or would listen to him on the radio or doing interviews, Jim kept it real. And that's part of the reason that we all loved him. He was excellent at his job. He had amazing calls, but he also kept it real about this team. And that's why we all were hurting. We were all hurting when we got that news. And the fight that he put up over 20 years, reading that he was first diagnosed back in 2003. And the fight that he kept doing to get to those games, to go through these games, even when he wasn't feeling his best, and he still brought it, man. He still brought it for all of those broadcasts. And I think at the end of the day, I'm going to really miss seeing him out in Berea. And, you know, the other thing about Jim that I'll tell you, that guy had a wicked sense of humor. Like, I just sitting there and, like, you know, a lot of times me and Tony Grossi, and we'd be sitting there and Jim would come up and we'd just be sitting there. It wasn't even about football. It was just about little things. And Jim he had such an amazing sense of humor as well. On top of just being an electric broadcaster. And I sit here and I remember, I don't think I ever told Jim this. And I'm sad that I never got the chance. I just never told him this. And I really should have. When I got into this business, I only ever wanted to be Jim Donovan. Like, when I set my goals out, when I started doing this, I wanted to be Jim Donovan. I sit here today, I still want to be Jim Donovan. Like, he was everything that as a Browns fan, and especially, again, as a broadcaster, somebody that got into this, he was everything you would ever want to be. He was the best. And on the other side of it, too, is, you know, getting to know him, the time that he would spend with me, or even just talking to me when I was nothing, dude. I was nothing. I was a 20-year-old kid. Like, when Tony first introduced me to him, and I was like, oh my God, this is Jim Donovan. You know, like, they say never meet your heroes in professional sense. Like, Jim Donovan is one of my professional heroes doing this. So to meet him and to understand how warm and kind of a person he is, where he never looked down on anybody. Again, even just some 25-year-old idiot kid that would meet him. And just, you take the time to talk to me, and it's just, we're all hurting. And certainly to his wife, to his daughter, to Browns Nation, we're going to miss Jim a lot. We're going to miss him a lot. And I so badly wish he got to see a Super Bowl. You know, there's so many people in this town, and, you know, you probably think your family members out there that are part of this, and you're like, man, I just wish I would have had a chance for them to see a Super Bowl. Jim Donovan's near top of that list here in Cleveland. He is. And it's weird because, like, you know, I read comic books in Kevin Conroy's voice because he's my Batman, right? I listen to Browns games. I hear Jim Donovan's voice. And I'm going to hear his voice forever. Forever. And there's a generation that we are so lucky to have been able to be a part of that with Jim. And I know he felt the same way. He felt so grateful to be able to be that person for the team, the conduit to the fans, listening on the radio broadcast. And, you know, again, things weren't always great. There were a lot of lean seasons that we had to go through. But Jim was electric. It was just, and I tell you this, like, you know, when I'm saying I listen to what every other broadcaster, Jim was freaking good, man. He was so good at doing football play-by-play. I mean, he did a lot of other things. Right. He had a chance to go national to do play-by-play, and he wanted to stick and keep doing the Cleveland Browns here in town. Like, that's how good Jim Donovan was at his job. And I said that when he first stepped down. The broadcaster is secondary to the person. For as great as Jim Donovan was as a broadcaster, he was an even better person. And he was so gracious with the fans, and that's why you could feel that connection with him. The connection to your team was in part because of Jim Donovan. And you saw so many of the tributes that were paid to him over the weekend and former players, and I'm so happy that the Browns got that win for him. And I wish he could. I know he saw it. I know he was there. And to be able to give that game ball to his family. But we're all hurting from that. And I just think at the end of the day, we lost an amazing person. We lost an amazing person in our community. And Jim put up a valiant fight for 20 years. Fighting cancer sucks. It sucks so bad. And it's impacted all of us to a point. And this is one that certainly we're going to feel for quite some time. So I'm going to miss him a lot. We all are. And we could come together as a community. Again, I know that there's been a lot of arguing and back and forth and all this stuff, but this is one thing that we can all come together. And hopefully the Browns can pick up a couple more wins, maybe turn this thing around and do it for Jim Donovan. And, you know, it's just, it's sad. It's so sad. And I know that they've got some, things planned, and there's going to be ways for the fans to be able to remember Jim Donovan. I know I think there's some T-shirts out there, and the money raised, I'm hoping, is going to a good place and all that kind of stuff. There is one thing I did want to say about a way that you can honor Jim Donovan, because he had to get a bone marrow transplant a little while ago. There is a way, and I did this years ago. You can sign up to be on the bone marrow transplant list. And all they do is they send you a test. All you do is you swab the inside of your mouth. You put it in there and you send it in. You're now in the database. And when I signed up, they'll tell you, they're not going to come ask you for a kidney, okay? They're not going to come ask you for organs. But they're just, now you are in the registry for bone marrow transplants. And that, I think, is a great way for people to be able to honor Jim Donovan. He had to get one a couple years ago. I think about so many people that are continuing that fight. And to be honest with you, Ryan, what spurred me was several years ago. I read a story about a young child. There was a little girl. I think she was 3 or 4 years old. She needed a bone marrow transplant. And I said, who am I to be sitting here and not getting in that list to be able to help somebody out one day? So it's free to do. It's free to sign up. It's free postage and all that. You can search for it online, get it. They send it. You swab your mouth. Now you're in the registry. And then I just get a text every year, and they go, do you want to remain on the registry? I click yes, send it off. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. So that's a great way to be able to honor Jim today as well. And again, I know the tributes are pouring in, all the favorite calls of Jim Donovan. He was the best. He was the best. And I tell you, having little insight onto the person that Jim was, as great as you thought he was as a broadcaster, he was a better person. And you see that with how many people that have come out and shared stories about him and talked about Jim Donovan. So certainly our hearts are heavy today thinking about his family, but we are all part of the extended Browns family in all this, and we're going to miss Jim a lot. And that was one that you take a step back, and I hate to say this too, it's like one I'm never going to forget. I was doing work in my house, and I come out, my wife's sitting there, and she goes, I have bad news. She goes, Jim Donovan passed away. And I stopped in my tracks, and I was like, it's bad. It's never easy. So I just, they got the win yesterday for Jim. They're going to get some more for him, I know. So certainly thoughts and prayers out to his family. We're all in this together, man. We're all in this together. So we're going to talk about a win, though, on a Victory Monday. Let's go. Browns. Yeah. Was it not just the quarterback? And I say that, Ryan, knowing that what did you text me yesterday? You go, I'm going to be unbearable on this show today talking about Jameis Winston. It's never as easy as just saying, well, it was just this. You had a monumental shift going from your play calling situation. Your offensive line was better. You ran the ball. Can't wait to get to the good, bad, and the ugly, because, man, there's some vision things that's coming back for Nick Chubb. You see little moments with Nick Chubb of him coming back. Career game for Cedric Tillman. It all worked out. And yeah, okay, Kyle Hamilton dropped that interception. Cry me a freaking river, man. I don't care. That's how this game goes. The Browns stepped up. And you saw them go swing for swing, step for step with one of the best teams in football. And it's also, I look at it and I say, the Ravens played well too. What did the Browns know, man? They limited Derrick Henry. We came into this game, they hadn't given up a 67-yard rusher all season. Well, bad news, they gave that up. He only had 73 yards. You stuffed him when they needed a yard, and you stopped Derrick Henry? How? Come on now. That's a play. That defense was physical, and you saw the spark. You saw the spark that Jameis brought to this team. Now, I think it's like anything. You start with a little bit of belief, and you're okay, let's see how it goes. And as the ebbs and the flows of the game, you saw the swell within the fans, but I also think on the field when Jameis started completing some passes, and you saw some tough throws. Now, let's call for what it's due. There were wide open guys that Jameis was hitting. And it's like hard for me not to start making the comparison back to Deshaun Watson, but those were throws I did not see getting completed. I did not see the easy stuff getting done. And then you saw some ones that were on a rope, man. You saw some ones that needed some precision accuracy, pushing that ball down the field, opening things back up a little bit for the run game. It all's got to come back to Jameis Winston. And it's like, the conversation that everybody is having. Well, that closes the door on Sean Watson. You think. And now we're going to sit here and what? If only they had started Jameis earlier, if they hadn't dealt with. Hey, man, that's part of this journey. This is where we're at. You got Sunday enough to say, number one, keep Jameis here. Okay, I know the trade deadline's right around the corner and all that. I have the vision of keeping Jameis here. You're going to win a couple of more games, too. I know that. He rolls over to next year. I know he's on a one-year deal, but you re-sign him, I don't know, maybe even this season. You re-sign him to a deal, and then he's your starter next year. And if you do draft a quarterback, which we assume they still will, all right, here's your bridge guy. Or you let Jameis start another year. Maybe you go get another quarterback. I don't know. It's just the opening is now there for the Browns. Like when we felt like we're going down this path of like there's only a couple ways out of this and it's narrowing our field, Jameis Winston opened this thing back up. Now, I tweeted this morning too, Ryan. The spark you got from Jameis was only good for yesterday. You got that. But now that spark, you hope, leads to belief. And you can go into games now saying, all right, we have a real chance. And it starts with the quarterback making the right reads, making the right throws. But that all starts with the game that you got from Jameis Winston yesterday. And I don't want to say it was perfect because I know, Stefan, that fumble, again, he's got to account for that guy. Blinds, okay, fine, whatever. He's back in the flow. He's going to, knocking off the rust and all that kind of stuff, fine. But it wasn't perfect, but it was still damn pretty good. It was still damn pretty good. And it was enough to get the win over Lamar Jackson, who technically Lamar outplayed. He outplayed Lamar Jackson. Now, in no world would you ever sit there and say you'd rather have Jameis Winston than Lamar Jackson. But for yesterday, the Browns outplayed him, specifically Jameis Winston. Ryan, good morning. I want to start, too, with Jim. Obviously, you're a little bit younger than me, but he is still the voice of my generation. He's certainly very much still the voice of your generation as well.
Yeah, I was fortunate enough to actually be at the game yesterday. And before, obviously, the opening kickoff, they did the tribute to Jim Donovan, moment of silence, and you could hear a pin drop.
Yeah.
It was so quiet. Mm-hmm. Beautiful moment. And like you said, I know obviously more so your generation, but still, even as I grew up, just touched thousands and thousands of people.
Hundreds of thousands of people. Absolutely.
And you saw, I don't know if you saw, I saw it on X this morning. I didn't watch the the Sunday night game, but Chris Collinsworth's first partner was Jim Donovan,
mm-hmm.
and they gave him the tribute, and that's national television, so that was amazing to see.
Yeah, absolutely.
But back to the Browns, and we'll dive into this game and dissect it, but at the bare bones of it, it is since Deshaun Watson's gotten here over 3 years now. When he's on the field and playing, you lose a lot more games than you win.
Mm-hmm.
And when he's off the field and you have another starting quarterback there, it could be P.J. Walker, it could be Dorian Thompson-Robinson, it could be Joe Flacco, it could be Jameis Winston. You win a lot more games than you lose. And there's a lot of reasons for that. But, let's call it for what it is. Deshaun Watson, and I said it, has held back this team's potential for quite some time now.
Well, the other thing, I also look at it, and you got to give Kevin Stefanski a lot of credit. This is another, marquee Stefanski win, right? And I know he didn't call plays, but you have to give him credit for that. You got to give him credit for being self-sacrificial in this and turning it over to Ken Dorsey. Now, I do want to hear from Kevin Stefanski because, again, I want the question, maybe even today, to be asked, did you see what you were looking for in Ken Dorsey? Now, yesterday, Stefanski gave him a lot of credit. He said, I loved what he did and all that. But this was one of a marquee win for Kevin Stefanski, and they all kind of have this common theme of backup quarterbacks, right? A lot of the big wins that he was able to get last year, or even times with Baker, there were certainly big wins there, but he did it with yet a different quarterback. And this would be really hard for sports, or ESPN or SI or somebody's stats and info to look this up. But for 4.5 years in, is that not the 10th quarterback he's won a game with?
Stefanski?
Yeah, just Stefanski.
We could
you had 5 last year. Now you had Jameis.
You had
Baker, Case Keenum. Did he win a game with Nick Mullins? I can't remember. You know what I mean? That's got to be at least 8.
Did you say Case?
Yeah, Case. So again, the 5 last year. Now Jameis, Baker, and Case. At minimum, that's 8.
Yeah.
Is that not some sort of record for a coach to win a game with at least 8 different quarterbacks through 3-4 years? Again, it's like we have to look that stat up. That'd be deep dive. But I'm just saying to have that many wins with that many different quarterbacks. Bro, Andy Reid has won games at that time with 2 quarterbacks, right? Like all these different teams that have just have their legacy quarterbacks that really check that on the list. That's another quarterback with a different play style that Kevin Stefanski has won a game with. It's not 5 last year because we didn't win the game with Driscoll. We started 5, but you didn't win that game with Driscoll. But you get my point. You get where I'm going. Like that was a very marquee Kevin Stefanski type of game. Now you start to ask the question, do you believe that we can climb our way back into this? You're 2-6. If you really wanted to dice that up this morning, you are technically 2 games out of a playoff spot right now. Now, I know, okay, you're probably not making the playoffs with 8 wins, okay? Or I'm sorry, 8 losses. 8 losses. At minimum, going 9-8 is the floor. So you only have 2 more losses that you're afforded the rest of the year. Listen, I'm not downplaying what yesterday was. That was emotional, it was needed, and the Browns got it. But you ask yourself, man, is there a chance? Is there a possibility that you can climb your way back at this? At bare minimum, you have kept your team engaged for now, right? You showed we can win games. You know when coaches say we can beat anybody, and you're starting to go, yeah, right. Well, yesterday, you beat anybody. You beat one of the best teams in football. It was a division win. It was the Ravens. And yeah, you had bad things go your way. You made some mistakes. You still found a way to persevere. And that might be the biggest takeaway that I could have for this team. They could have packed it up, but they didn't. And a big part of that was Jameis Winston. I will continue to give credit to Kevin Stefanski for that, but your team is now re-engaged. Your team is back now believing that they can win it, at least on any Sunday. How that goes for the playoffs or where the season might be, totally understand that. But it was going to go really bad when you had guys starting to check out, when you continued on the trade rumors or what the Browns were going to do or not going to do. You at least stave that off for now. And you just focus solely on the next game. And you have to be going into Sunday thinking we can beat the Chargers, all right? Are they all that good of a team? Not necessarily. So you just have that belief for another week. And that's all I want this team to keep doing. And sometimes we were talking about kicking the can down the road in a bad way with the Watson contract. Just keep kicking this can down the road. Just keep getting to Sunday, trying your best, pull it out, and we'll see where it goes from there. But the elephant in the room is about to be escorted out of the room now. It was always the quarterback. It was always the quarterback. Now, the only thing that you didn't get yesterday was your easy answer, Stefanski versus quarterback, because he wasn't calling plays. But I got to tell you.
Which is ridiculous.
But here, can I give you a take that I thought of yesterday? With the change at play caller, that actually adds more into it really was all Deshaun Watson. Because you had yet another variable that could have gone wrong. We all, at least Ryan and I believe, Kevin Stefanski is really good at his job, and I think he's a good play caller. I think he's a good offensive-minded coach. Well, you took him out of that, and you still got to win with a quarterback who played his ass off. You know what it is. And that is now got a signal to the team. And I read it all this morning, right? It was the easy article to write from, and I ain't ripping Will Brinson or Matt Verdame or anybody else I read this morning. That was all the same thing. Proven Deshaun Watson's not the guy. Proven it's time to move on. Yeah, we know that. And we all kind of felt that anyway. But when you see that it just takes, now, do guys throw for 300 yards every single weekend? Not, especially in today's NFL. No, right? That was a great game from Jameis Winston. But I also, watching that game, Ryan, and this is a no shot at our friend here at Big Play. By the way, Jameis Winston tonight on the Big Play Cleveland show.
Yes.
Am I allowed to say where they took him to eat?
Yeah. I think
Swenson's, so. Galley Boy. Jameis Winston tonight on the Big Play Cleveland show. Get ready for that. Our friend of show, Big Play Cleveland, and Jameis Winston. So tonight, be on the lookout for that. But did Jameis do anything yesterday that you got done and you're like, wow? Again, he played well, But all he did, Ryan, was in a clean pocket. Offensive line, best game of the season for them.
Yeah, but that's also...
Go back to exactly what you're going to go with, and I know where you're going. Go ahead, buddy.
I mean, it just goes back to, you could talk about the offensive line, you could talk about Jerry Jeudy, you could talk about Elijah Moore, you could talk about Cedric Tillman, you could talk about anybody. They play better when their quarterback is better. Like, their quarterback
when he's
is
in the
good
system.
play. So when your quarterback isn't bailing out of clean pockets, no kidding, your offensive line is going to look better than they are. And it just goes to show this team, and I've been guilty of it, crapping on them, but it might have been, even as much as I've been blaming Deshaun Watson, I might not even have been blaming him enough. That's how much it was the change, right?
Yeah.
Every single player on that Browns roster, on offense and defense, all 21 players outside of Jameis Winston, because he was the X factor this specific game, played better because Jameis Winston was in there and Deshaun Watson was out.
Well, and that's what I'm saying is that with Winston in the pocket, they knew where he was going to be. They knew how they had to block it. And yeah, he took some hits and he delivered some passes. But what I'm saying, like, Winston played a game that I think an NFL quarterback is supposed to play. Clean throws, good throws, guys got open. Like, I guess my whole point is you didn't get some Herculean effort from Jameis Winston, and you got to, like, that's, the bar was not that high. Again, I needed him to play to an average quarterback level in the NFL. Now, I will say, I think Jameis played a little above that yesterday. But what I'm saying, he wasn't a world beater. He didn't go out there and have to throw for 450 yards and run for 6 touchdowns or pull a Jalen Hurts or anything like that. He just played in the system. And again, I love Jameis. We all love Jameis. He's a backup quarterback at this point of his career, right? It kind of makes you angry because you sit there and go, if we had just gotten that, where could we be?
And we can talk about that all we want. Obviously, there's no point in going back to it, but I think there is a point in going back to, well, let's say Deshaun Watson never tore his Achilles, right? I mean, just how long was this regime going to try and force this thing to work that you knew wasn't? And how much longer are they going to damage this team and damage the players around them that by forcing them to play with somebody that's quite frankly horrible at football at this point in his career?
Sure, and that's where...
And it's disgusting.
No, it is, and that's... people don't want to hear this, okay? But it's the truth. You have got to allow the Browns to make this, we all sit here and say it's over and Watson. You still got to allow the Browns to go ahead and play this out the way that they want. It's like the thing. I've teed everything up, and I just want them to then make the right decision. The decision you want them to make, that I want them to make, and all that. But they still have to make that decision. And that'll be told on this offseason or what they do. And there's still a very, very much real world. Deshaun Watson is on this team next year. I would tell you, if I was a betting man, which I am, I would tell you he's going to be here next year. Now, if he's actually on the team, if he's actually around the team, I don't know. He's not going anywhere. He's going to be here. And they could do the post-June 1 cut and eat all that salary and that kind of stuff. Brian, most likely he's going to be on this roster next year. Now, is he starting? I doubt that highly.
Not a chance.
You will probably have 2 new quarterbacks in here. Or not too new, because I think James is going to stick around. But, like, the Browns still have yet to, and there's no reason for them to make the decision now. What I'm saying is it's just so obvious, walk through the door, man. The door is open. I'm just waiting for the Browns to walk through. Now is not the time, and we'll get there eventually, but that door has swung wide open.
I would need somebody to, exactly explain to me the numbers of a post-June 1 cut and just how much that would limit the Browns. But I'm so serious when I say that and even regardless of what those numbers might be, I truly believe in your best interest is to just cut Deshaun Watson out of everything that he's ever been in this franchise and just erase him from history in Cleveland. I'm so serious. It's the only way forward.
So the only thing you get on post-June 1 cut, you get to spread the money over 2 years except for 1. So let's say the Browns cut Deshaun Watson right now. They are then required to pay all of the money that they owe him on the cap now. You do a post-June 1 cut, which again would be the offseason, they're allowed to use some of that money next year and then some of it the year after that. It's 45, I think it's 48 per year, no matter what. Or no, is it not 70?
It's like 76.
I think. Split up over those 2 years. That's where you're at. And I know they're going to roll over the money and they keep pushing it down, all that kind of stuff, whatever, fine. But the door is swung so far wide open now that the Browns have no choice but to walk through and understand he's not it. And you just see what it looks like with a Jameis Winston. You knew that with Joe Flacco, but it's just over and over again. It shows you this team can win. And I know it's the hardest position in sports, and it's the hardest one to find. We just need the quarterback. I'm not saying that the offensive line is perfect. I'm not saying that this receiving core is better without Amari Cooper. I'm not saying that I'm not concerned about Denzel Ward's concussion again. But you see a team like that and understand you can win when you find the quarterback. And the thing is, yesterday, again, not ripping our friend Jameis here, he didn't throw an interception. I mean, maybe should have thrown an interception, but he didn't. You know that's going to come. That's what he does. Okay, that's fine. Threw 3 touchdowns yesterday. He's going to throw an interception eventually. You got to try to overcome that with him. But played a winning brand of football yesterday. A winning brand of football with Ken Dorsey at the helm calling the plays. You see the steps you got to take. You see the steps you have got to take now. And I don't want to get wrapped up on, well, what they could have done or should have done or, the past and all that. It's over. You can't do anything about it. It's done. What I am just concerned about now is the moving forward of things. Jameis is now cemented as your starter. I know there's all that drama about the front office, whatever, the coaches, whatever, they're mad at him, whatever. He's your guy. You start him the rest of the season as long as he's healthy. I think you re-sign him in the offseason. You either draft a quarterback or you just let it go with Jameis. But make no mistake. For some of the conversations that we had last week and a clip we sent out on this show, this is just proving it yet again. If the Browns fire Kevin Stefanski, that will be one of the biggest mistakes that they have ever made. That guy can win you football games, all right? And it's not to a point that I want to say we're shutting this down without question. Now, we got there at some point with Kevin Stefanski. I'm not saying he's perfect. And now I know there's some people out there angry because now they got less meat to bitch about because he's not calling plays. So they don't get to wake up on Monday and go, F Stefanski, he did this or he didn't do that. There's some people out there angry about it because now you got less to bitch about with Kevin Stefanski. Give him credit for making the move to Dorsey, and they won a game yesterday. They weren't supposed to win. Give him that credit, and we're going to shut it down for now. And that's all I wanted. That's all I wanted. I was all in on Kevin Stefanski. I'm going to continue to be. And yesterday, feather in his cap, man. Feather in his cap. Well done. Let's hear from Coach Stefanski yesterday and a couple things. So I did want to start his opening remarks a little bit, and he discussed being able to take that game ball to Cheryl and Megan Donovan, Jim's wife and his daughter. So this is his opening statement, Kevin Stefanski yesterday, being able to give that game ball to the Donovans.
I'm just very proud of that football team. We knew we were going to have to outlast them. That's a great team. We knew that, but I'm proud of them because of the work that we put into this thing, and you want to get the results when you put in all the work. So I'm proud of them. And then I had a lot of reasons for wanting to win this game, but one of them was so I can give that game ball to Cheryl Donovan and Megan Donovan. Jim was so important to this organization. He was a friend of mine. I'm going to miss him, but his enthusiasm, his spirit will never be lost on me. Won't be lost on this football team. But these guys fought like crazy, so I'm proud to say that I can go give them a game ball.
And then they did right after the game. There's a picture they sent out, and it was AB and Kevin Stefanski. They're giving the game ball, which is great. Here's an amazing question from Tony Grossi, man. Kevin Stefanski, was it as simple as just changing out the quarterbacks? Here's Coach yesterday. Audio courtesy of the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, I understand the question, Tony. I don't really get wrapped up in it, honestly. I want to make sure that we're doing everything in our power to score points on offense to help this football team. That's a great team win there. I think all 3 phases did their job. Again, do we all 3 phases play perfect? Nope, we didn't. But we fought like crazy.
He wanted to say, yeah. Play it again. You can hear where he goes, I understand the question, Tony, and he knows what he can't say there. Play it again, Coach.
Yeah, I understand the question, Tony. I don't really get wrapped up in it, honestly. I want to make sure that
he does or doesn't understand the question.
He understands the question and doesn't want to get wrapped up into it.
We all know.
We all know. And the thing is, they know, don't ever forget this about football. They know more than we do. They know a lot more than we do. So as they sit there and break down the film yesterday, today, as they go through it, they're going to know even more. Now, here's Coach Stefanski. How do you think Jameis Winston played yesterday? Coach, audio courtesy of the Cleveland Browns.
That is
The Winston. Stefanski and
Here we
Winston. Here you go.
Yeah, I thought he played well. I thought the protection was outstanding all day. I thought the guys really took the challenge of that. And I thought he got through his reads, and the guys got open. He made good decisions. Wasn't perfect. No, he's not going to play perfect. I'm not going to coach perfect. But I thought he played well.
Got through his reads. When's the last time we've been able to say that? Got through his reads. That, and again, we'll get to the good, the bad, and the ugly here quick. The more I watched that game, I saw it. Right, left, back here. Where am I going with the football here? Got through his reads. That's it. That's the game. The reads are not always going to be perfect. It's going to be dicey. That one throw to Njoku, when he was covered, he was, and you just zipped it in there. The going through the reads part. That's it. We were not getting that, okay? What did you get? Okay, let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Flacco and Jameis Winston.
Okay.
What's one thing that you should be able to say about those two guys who have played a lot of NFL football?
They know how to read a defense.
They know how to read a defense. It doesn't mean that the defense doesn't make a play. It doesn't mean that they can't throw something at you, a little curveball here. Welcome to the NFL. But a veteran guy in there, what should they be able to do? Read a defense. What's one of the issues that Sean Watson was saying? You can't, I'm telling you that. And you hear that about some of these young quarterbacks, and even Baker had to deal with that. When they can't read it, when they don't know where to go with the ball, or they can't come up. Remember that Baker's a one-read quarterback. Baker's a one-read quarterback. Jameis Winston read it, and he knew what to do with the football yesterday, which was great. Final thing from Kevin Stefanski. How do you think Ken Dorsey, now I want this specific question. Did you see what you needed to see from Ken Dorsey? In making the move that the Browns did, Kevin Stefanski was searching for something. Don't forget that, all right? He could, number one, say, I'm not doing a good enough job, and I got to get better. But if you got to get better, then there's got to be something. And I don't have the answer to that. Kevin Stefanski does. There had to be something that he was searching for, that he wanted Ken Dorsey to do better than he was doing. What was that one thing? I wonder. But here's Kevin Stefanski yesterday. How do you think Dorsey did?
I thought Dorsey was great. Just all week, that offensive staff, Coach Dorsey, I thought the guys really did a nice job putting a game plan together. And then on game day, it's just a very collaborative process. But I thought Dorsey was great.
He was great. I mean, again, the flow. Is there something that I could sit there and pick out like, oh, that was really different than what Kevin Stefanski did? Not necessarily, because I'm not going to lie to you. I've seen games like that from Kevin when he's calling plays. But Dorsey did a great job. The move is paid off. Call the dogs off on that for a little bit. Yeah, I don't want Stefanski to have a play calling, but man, what a move to do that. And we move on. So here's Jameis Winston. And I want to play the turnaround cut first from you, Ryan, because this actually goes right back to Dorsey taking play calling over. Listen to Jameis Winston when you can kind of understand even the shock from him about the play calling move. The question was, Jameis, what do you think the big turnaround was today for the Browns? Courtesy of the audio, courtesy of the Browns.
Yeah, a lot of people had their factors. Offensive line played great all day. We were efficient in the run game. Guys were open. But at the beginning of the week, we had this change. Our head coach stopped calling plays. Like, why did he do that? Ken Dorsey has stepped up. But that just shows great leadership from the top down with Coach Kevin, being certain about this decision to change. And Ken showed up. He put in great work, and he did an outstanding job today to lead us.
I thought that, like, where he said even us were sitting here going, wait, what? Now you got players that were in there going, wait, what are you doing? Like, that, I just want to play that as maybe the shock that we all had. Even the play, what is that? You know what? I'm going to say it. I'm dancing around and I should. What does that say? That tells you that Jameis Winston thought Kevin Stefanski was doing a good job, right? For him to say the shock, and maybe I'm, going down a bad direction in this, or I'm making something out of it that isn't there. I don't know. But just hearing Jameis say that, kind of clicked in my head to go, well, even he thought Kevin Stefanski was doing a good job. It wasn't it's time to make that move and all that. It was, we didn't expect that. So that tells you that a quarterback that's been through the league, that's seen a lot of different play callers, he thought Kevin Stefanski was doing a fine job. So you had that move, and it all paid off. Now the final thing. I used to do a thing, Ryan. It's called Shot or Not. And we play a clip. It's really kind of generated from Baker because Baker liked to take a lot of subtle shots at people. Did Jameis Winston take a shot here when he was asked about the game? And he started talking about the fans. And I want to play this, and I want you to decide, do you think he was taking a little jab here, maybe a little shot to the ribs, if you will? Jameis Winston talking about the game.
It felt amazing, and I really appreciate the fans for coming out here and helping us win this game. We gave y'all what y'all wanted, hopefully. So let's continue to show up and show out and keep building.
Gave y'all what you wanted, hopefully, right? Shot or not, right?
I don't think so.
Okay, all right, that's fine. That's fine.
I don't think
that's
Jameis
fine.
would take
that's
a shot.
Fine. I don't think so either. I just thought it was funny how he kind of worked that in there a little bit. And I do think in a lot of different parts, it's very unfortunate of Jim's passing, but that could, brings us together. That stadium was rocking. I mean, you were there. It was rocking. It was loud. The fans are a part of it, and you got to win. That just kind of, that heals it a little bit.
I think
the fracture that was there, I think yesterday brought it all back together post the Watson Boo gate or whatever you want to call it.
You heard Jameis kind of chuckle when he said that. We, give y'all what y'all wanted.
Yeah.
And honestly, to me, what it sounds like is, Jameis Winston, after the game soaks in everything that happened, what he was able to do and get the Browns to win. Honestly, if I'm Jameis Winston, I'm sitting there thinking, damn, maybe this isn't that hard, right? Like, I came in here and threw for 300 yards, man. Maybe this was a great point. Maybe this was the legit moment Jameis himself realized that Deshaun was the problem.
And that's where I get, first overall pick, right? Tampa Bay didn't go all that well. New Orleans, not all that great. You hear that from players when they come here. And I don't want to say that we're gullible, but bro, that's all you got to do. And we'll buy you Swenson's till the day you die. You won't pay for another drink in this house. That's how rabid of a fan base we are. And yes, the bar is low. But I will tell you this, man. And Jameis, I'm sure he knows this already, but I'll tell you, it's a lifelong Clevelander. We love you hard. We love you hard. Whether or not that's good or bad, have we had our hearts broken? Absolutely. Do we put our faith in some wrong people from time to time? Absolutely. But we love hard in this town, and we'll fall head over heels for you, all right? Great Tears for Fears song. Great song. But we're all in, man. And that's all that takes. And I think, again, yesterday, you felt a collective, just not a sigh of relief, because you still got a long way to go. I felt the pressure come off. I felt a little come off of the Browns yesterday. And now they can get back to work. You got the Chargers coming to town on Sunday. That's a winnable game. But you felt the pressure come off. And I'm not saying, I'm not going to, take all the pressure off the Browns because they don't deserve that. They have put themselves in this situation. But do you not feel new today? Do you not feel a little new today? The book ain't closed. This is like a new chapter. All right. And I don't think the Browns are going to be able to get back in the playoff picture. I don't. But it just feels like a little refresh here. It feels like a little reprieve. You can get reset here. Got to go again right for a game. Then we got the bye week and all that kind of stuff. But still, I just feel a little sense of space. I felt constricted. The Browns everything was bad. Everything sucked. You felt like you were in a box. Now you feel like you can breathe a little bit.
That game yesterday, to me, signaled the end, and I hope the end, maybe it won't be, of Deshaun Watson will never start another game in Cleveland. And to me, that's a positive. And it also goes to show that this is the worst trade in football history.
Well, yeah, that's right. Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe even in sports in general. And
probably.
Listen, that's the truth, but at least now we don't have to debate it anymore.
No.
And at least now we can start healing and moving on from it.
Well, and that's, again, it comes back to, you understand that you know what it looks like. You know what you can do when you have that. And it's like, it was one game. You didn't win the Super Bowl yesterday, but it just shows you that's all we needed. If anything, you could get even more angry because, again, I saw this on social media and got the text. It goes, that's all the bar that we were looking for Deshaun Watson. The bar was not through the roof. It was just to this level, and he couldn't even get to that. All right? Now where you go from Jameis, you can start, and don't forget this too, now you could start formulating a little bit more on that offense for him. And you could start really immersing yourself in saying, he is our starter. And there were things, obviously, they put in for him, and they changed some things for him. But now you get another week to look at that. And now you have some tape. Now the other flip side of that, the Chargers will have your tape on Jameis Winston for you and how that goes for what they're going to get ready. But now you could start changing a little bit more of your offense, implementing a few more things for Jameis Winston. I expect it to get better. I expect it to be that much better against the Chargers. And then you get your bye week, and you can really deep dive into some things. But we are 2 weeks away, too, from the trade deadline. And there's been a lot of conversation, too, about going into that game, trading Zadarius Smith and trading Greg Newsome and trading this and trading that. Jameis was a part of that. Now, he is untradeable in my mind. Whatever you would get back, let's say on the high end, you get a third-round pick back for him. Not worth it. You got to keep this team together. And I also would like to open the door of Jameis being here next year in some capacity, whether it's your straight week one starter, whether it's a bridge to the rookie quarterback, whatever. I'm now all in on that train. So whatever they could call about. And the other thing, too, does that not just shut down some of the lunacy out there? Well, they should really think about trading Myles Garrett. They should think about trading. We could just shut all that. We could shut this Stefanski bullcrap down. We could shut some of this trade bullcrap down. And yeah, Ryan, I think a lot of us will do this, too. It'll shut the Deshaun Watson conversation down.
Yeah.
Where it was a debate, whereas even as obvious as it looked, there were still the Leroy Bickerstaffs out there saying this and saying that. I think we should even just move forward. We're not having that conversation anymore because it's over. I don't want to debate it anymore. And they'll have that move whenever they get to it with Watson and they figure that out. But just for this show, it's over. And we're not going to have that conversation anymore. He's done. I felt that when he got hurt, unfortunately. But now, when I'm reminded that that is just the level of quarterback that I need to be able to go beat one of the best teams in football, we're done. We're done here. You can get that level of football from quite a few different guys, in my opinion. And it's not that this is a 5-year solution with Jameis, but let's also not forget, what's Jameis? Is he not 33 years old?
I don't know. That sounds about
He's
right.
30 years old.
He's the same age as Deshaun?
He's 30 years old.
So is Deshaun.
No, I think he's 29.
Okay, well, he's about to be 30.
Close.
I think his birthday's December, is it not?
I don't know when his birthday is. That's a good question. Deshaun Watson just turned 29 years old.
Oh, I'm tripping. Okay.
So Jameis will be 31 in January. So let's call it for what it is. They're about 2 years apart.
When's Jameis' birthday?
January 6th.
Oh, okay.
Why?
I'm 20th. I wondered if I had the same birthday.
Oh, no, that'd be really cool, wouldn't it be? We do a combo birthday party for you.
Yeah.
That'd be a lot of fun. Where'd you want to go with Jameis Winston for your birthday party?
Dave & Buster's.
Pizza party, Dave & Buster's. Good answer. You went to Swenson's last night. That video coming up tonight, a big play Cleveland show. That'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I wouldn't trade. I mean, I agree with you.
And
I
also,
think
like,
whatever you would get
I understand that I am kind of drunk right now on that win, and here I'm sitting there saying, well, maybe Jameis could be our future guy. He's been a lot of places where they thought he could be a future guy, and it hasn't worked out. But maybe it clicks. What did he say?
But
the Eminem quote everybody likes. Here's your shot. Amanda Balleone talked about that on the broadcast. She goes, we talked to Jameis, and he goes, well, sometimes it takes a little while for a guy to get a start. And they brought up Sam Darnold. And Jameis went right back. He goes, what about Steve Young? And I go, it's probably, that's a little bit of a better example. But maybe this is finally something that can unlock. I don't know, man. I'm drunk on the win. I want him to start the rest of the season. But at least now you have, in my opinion, a viable path that is forming at quarterback. I didn't have that 2 weeks ago. I didn't.
And I'm not talking about, I'm not talking about salvaging the season for the playoffs. So
sure,
in my mind, that's a stretch.
You got a 3% chance.
Is it possible?
Of
Sure, but it's a stretch. But what I'm talking about is I agree with you. I'm not trading Jameis Winston for that, even if it's that third. I don't think, because what that third is going to be, and it might that third round pick could it be a great picture? Could it be a player that never touches the field for the brown and orange? Possible, but it's not going to mean as much right now for what Jameis is able to provide in terms of healing from Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
And just like you said, competent quarter play for that set evaluation period, even if you really can't make the playoffs. And Ken and Lima were talking about that this morning, and I think it's just lunacy. Like, I'm still trading Greg Newsome.
I would still trade Zadarius Smith tomorrow. I would tomorrow too. Right.
But that's different from trading Jameis Winston.
Yeah.
Way different.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. And I'm not saying that teams haven't called and tried to figure it out and all that, but like Mike tweets, shout out to Mike, he goes, if Winston starts over the rest of the season and can lead this offense to just improve to scoring average, like if you can just get to an average NFL offense in this time, then you have to bring him back. And the thing is, what did we need next year? A cheap quarterback, right? That's what you had to have. Now, Jameis Winston is making $8 million a year. He's going to ask for a pay raise. But even if you gave him 15, 2 years, $30 million, and you could play the dummy year game and spread the money out, that's your savior. That's your savior. And I will take this brand of football, even with multiple interceptions.
You've been winning.
Well, I'm assuming
That's
you
what
would
she'll
just
take.
be there. You would be competent.
Yeah, I'll take winning football. 100%.
You would be there. Now, are we putting too much on that game yesterday? Yeah, maybe. Maybe, but
here's the thing. We're not talking about going to the playoffs. We're not talking about this season somehow being saved, right? Like, we're talking about a quarterback that comes in, plays competent football, and makes the players around him better, and it gives you a chance to look at everything that this team is.
Right.
You couldn't look and take away anything from this football team legitimately when Deshaun Watson played quarterback, because that's how bad he was, and that's how much he brought down this team on both sides of the ball. Defense played the best they played all season, had showed shades of last year. Why? Because the offense was able to stay on the field for more than 3 plays a drive.
well, now you're also having guys that believe we can win with him. We're going to show up. We're going to play. We're going to pray. That's what you are on the borderline precipice of this, of guys falling off and not sacrificing. Now you got that belief again with Jameis. And we all love the pregame hype and all his conversations, and he's a really fun guy. But what? He's one of those people that brings, like, okay, I don't mean to, again, take this back to Baker, but like Baker was like a magnet. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know those people in your life that you just gravitate towards them because they got an energy about them. Like, you want to play well for Jameis Winston. People wanted to play well for Baker Mayfield. That wasn't happening with Sean Watson.
Well, yeah, it's called
that was not happening.
It's called being a leader.
Well, yeah, that's, in essence, you're right. You're boiling it down to being a leader. There are guys out there that will sacrifice for their quarterback. Gerard, I worked for Gerard for how long? He said one of the best things about Tom Brady, even when he was making all that money, even when he had 6 Super Bowl rings in the cabinet, he was still the first one in there showing up. He was still the guy that would put the work in. He never sold himself short on that. And that makes other guys play hard for them. You're going to have a team that's going to play hard for Jameis Winston. That's how that's going to go for the rest of the season. Is that going to equate to a bunch of wins? No. Are you still probably going to be a double-digit loss team? Yeah, maybe. But you just pull some of this out. Just to pull a little bit of something, anything out of this is what I need the Browns to do with Jameis Winston. All right, 'tis the time. A lot more good than the bad or the ugly, but we still got to run through it on a Monday right here on Big Play. Let's get to it. Let's go.
He looked like himself.
No, I lost my Western music.
What happened? Oh, because we're in Studio B.
We'll roll with this.
Let's roll with that. Time for the good, the bad, and the ugly. Following the Browns' victory over the Ravens yesterday, we start with the good. Number 1, that was a physical brand of defense yesterday. You had to put Diabate in there to make some plays. You had it. Miles was still in Lamar Jackson's face. You stopped Derrick Henry when they needed a yard. You saw a physical brand of football. Browns defense showed up yesterday in some big spots.
Yeah, this guy I'm about to say, not necessarily on the box score, not necessarily lighting up stats, but I was at the game and I was watching him heavily, and he had some damn good reps, and that was Mike Hall.
Mike Hall, he was there. Again, got his hands on Lamar Jackson a couple of times. That's what you want to see. And that's, the offensive line we did on the Friday report card. They had some weaknesses. You exploited it. Can we catch a God bless interception? Please. Got your hand in like 6 footballs yesterday. Got to start coming down with some picks. But as a physical brand of football, that's what you wanted to see. Next up on the good, and we'll revisit him, Denzel Ward had another stellar game. And he was on his way to an all-pro season before the concussion. We'll get to that with the bad coming up. Denzel Ward had another elite game. Again, there was not an elite. I like Zay Flowers as much as the next guy. That's fine. But I would say Denzel Ward had another amazing game yesterday.
Yeah, he's
Would you say the defensive backfield in general had a solid game? There's a couple of these PIs and the penalties and all that.
I wouldn't. I'll tell you why. Because Greg Newsome played horrible.
Yeah.
And Denzel got cooked on a route that should have been a touchdown.
Yeah.
Lamar just completely overthrew him.
Yeah.
But again, Denzel Ward remains great.
Sure. Yeah, he is. I really liked, on the good, the bad, and the ugly, I see Nick Chubb. I see him. I see him starting to get that vision back. And they talked about on the broadcast a couple of times where, he was a cutaway. And it's like the physical part of it is certainly very big. It's like a quarterback. You got to have your vision as a running back. You got to see the field. That's going to come back with time and reps and on the field with Nick Chubb. That's one of my things I'm most excited to see, to be honest with you, with the team moving forward, is Nick Chubb. And I just see him ticking these off. Just tick, 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 tick. Every single time he gets the ball, it's another step towards him, hopefully returning to form. And I liked what I saw. Now, again, what he rushed for? 50 yards yesterday, 3 average. Not great, but I see it where it's like, he's like this close to snapping one off here. Getting a, long 30-yard run, which we know he can still do. But I see the progression with Nick Chubb, which is what I want to see.
Yeah, it's a lot better than the 1 yard per carry he had, whatever it was last week. But again, coming back from that injury, anything you're getting from Nick Chubb is just so special at this point. And you're right, you could see instances where a little bit of a flashes of former Nick Chubb. Obviously, a long way to go till you get that, but very positive sign.
Next up, you got to give some love to Jameis Winston. He did what the Browns needed him to do. Read through the defense, went through his progressions, and delivered catchable footballs. Now, there were some that were off target, but again, I talked about this earlier. As the Browns progress forward on changing some of the offense with him, he's also, how often is he thrown to Jerry Jeudy? How often is he thrown to Elijah Moore? Like, he's found his way. Now, we'll get to Cedric Tillman on the good, too. Does it make a lot of sense that he threw to Cedric Tillman a lot? Why? He was thrown to Cedric Tillman a lot in training camp because they were both running with the twos. Made a lot of sense. But I think as Jameis starts to get more comfortable with these guys, you're going to see more for Njoku. You're going to see more for Jerry Jeudy. But again, Jameis, excellent. I thought he played a really good football game yesterday, and he took you to a win.
No, he played great, and I give him all the credit in the world to step up in that moment, especially when, you go back to that game before, right? I know they said DTR was promoted because some packages they were going to run or something like that.
Yeah.
But, that's kind of hard. Then you come back, you get that role, and then you perform super well. And you talk about, yes, he's going to throw picks. That's exactly what Joe Flacco did. But listen, in the NFL, you have to be able to throw the ball downfield. You have to, that's going to happen. Yeah. And that's how you win games. Now, I give all the credit in the world to Jameis Winston.
I'm going to combo some good with the receiving core. Cedric Tillman, career game. Elijah Moore, all right. And then David Njoku with some nice big catches as well. Here's what I like. 7 grabs for Tillman, 8 for Elijah Moore, 5 each for Jerry Jeudy and David Njoku. I would probably like Jeudy to be the 7 or 8 reception, but I kind of like that distribution. 12 targets for Moore, 8 for Jeudy, 7 for Njoku, 9 for Tillman. Now, you threw it 41 times. That's a lot, but I like that distribution. You got the ball out to those guys. No offense to Jeff Swaim or any of these other guys. Those are the only guys deserving to be catching passes for this team right now. Cedric Tillman, Elijah Moore, Jerry Jeudy, David Njoku. That's about it. Jordan Akins had that one high one go off his hands that he could have caught. I guess a good defender was right there on him and all that kind of stuff. Those are the only guys you should be throwing the football to, and that's pretty much what they did yesterday.
Yeah, I talked some not so good things about Cedric Tillman, but listen, he performed super well, and I'm super excited to see that. Whether it's him catching 8 passes, Jeudy catching 8 passes, honestly, at this point, I don't really care. I'm just glad to see it, and maybe, that's what happens, man. It just goes to show another example when you have a confident quarterback.
Next up, the bad. Denzel Ward with another concussion. That's 6. Listen, we all kind of got immersed in this with the Tua situation, and I said that about Tua, and I'm going to say the same thing about Denzel Ward. They are grown men, and it's up to them. It'd be different if that was my brother, and I might be sitting there saying, dude, you don't need to play football anymore, okay? And I would probably honestly maybe say that to Denzel Ward anyway. But also, I am not going to be sitting here pontificating, telling you this or telling you that. That is between them, their doctors, God, their family, whatever they wanted to do, that's their business. Denzel Ward is an excellent player. He is an all-pro level type of player. He is from Northeast Ohio. I want nothing but the best for Denzel Ward. I love Denzel Ward. I really do. I don't know, man. I really don't. And the thing is, to cut right to the bone on this, That's something the Browns are going to have to start thinking, that career might not be as long as you think it's going to be. And I said this, again, none of my business, but just kind of, I didn't know if Myles Garrett was long for the NFL, where he'd be playing 15 odd some years, right? Whatever, that aside. The Browns got to start sitting there realizing that we might not have our number one corner for a long time. Or if you do, he's going to be missing 7 games again. That's all as a factor. I know Denzel is paid up, as he should be. He's an elite number one corner. But these are things Andrew Berry's going to have to figure out with Denzel Ward coming up. And it just sucks. I hate this. I hate this part of the game. And injuries rob you from some great... Dude, yesterday Sunday Night Football, right? Who'd they have ringing the bell? It was Frank Gore is not what I'm talking about. Patrick Willis was up. And you go, man! And I looked it up because I was so shocked. And I was like, he ended his career because he had a toe injury. It's not a concussion, but he got injured. He couldn't play anymore. Like, injuries rob us from some really great players. I hope that is not the case with Denzel Ward. Now, I bring it up for this, Ryan. Just as information as we needed, there is a potential out on Denzel Ward after next year in his contract. You could get out of it, and you would be having a $19 million dead cap hit, which doesn't seem like very much compared to some of the dead caps you have. There is an out for Denzel Ward after next season. I hope we don't have to take it. I really do. But that's something the Browns are going to have to figure out with that. Also on the injury front, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. I hate seeing that fucking card come out. I hate it. Now, the good news is he had all movement and extremities, stayed in the hospital overnight. But just, again, from like a football X's and O's standpoint, Ryan, he is now one of those guys on that list of you cannot live without Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah on that defense. I'm worried about this weekend, and I would imagine with an injury like that, you sit him out knowing you have the bye following the next week. But that's a tough spot for Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. I just hope he's doing all right, but I hated seeing that. That was definitely on my bad list.
Yeah, never good when you see a card come out, man.
No.
Prayers up for John.
Yep. Then the final thing for the ugly, Jameis on that phone. And when you watch the play, you kind of maybe understand he needed to know there was going to be that free rusher, that ticking clock in your head. Just didn't pick it up. But, like, that was a spot where they went down and scored. We were trying to come back. The little intricacies of the game like that, about when they could score, time of possession, all that kind of stuff, it's all good. Kind of works out, though, man. Is Justin Tucker washed? Is he bad?
Yeah, I mean,
he's like below 50%, beyond 50 for the last 2 years now.
No, yeah, he's not.
He might be cooked.
No, he is.
He might be cooked. And changes things a little bit over there for the Ravens, does it not? And again, I like take joy. It's not that I necessarily take joy in a guy failing, but for the Ravens, all right, take that all day. Maybe I should put Justin Tucker on that list.
There you go.
Being ugly, probably not good. So there it is. The good, the bad, and the ugly. A lot more good for the Browns as they get the win for Jim yesterday, which we loved so much. We spent a lot of time talking about Jim Donovan earlier in the show. We'll continue to do that as we go on. Yesterday was just so emotional. And, you know, as we run through this, as we talk about the future, you know, the Cleveland Browns, and it's just something that we're always going to be thinking of Jim. And you're still going to hear the calls through Jim's voice and all that. And yesterday, coming together in that way, you got that win. The fan base and the organization were fractured, right? We were at each other's throats in this thing. We were yelling at one another. You weren't happy. And then we just get that news on Saturday, which just rocked everybody. You go out and you get a big win yesterday. It was emotional. The fans were there, and we know Jim was with us. We do know that. And I thank the team for getting that win, man. They needed it the most yesterday. And you beat the Ravens. You did it at home. And you played a game that was the brand of football that you got to play to win. And it shows to the fans, to those players, to everybody, we can win. You know, there are teams that you look at and you go, you can't win. The Raiders cannot win. The Panthers cannot win. I'm starting to think that about the Jets, to be honest with you.
Yeah, they're horrible.
You know the Browns can win. We know we can. You just got to have some of these things go right. And you'll get start number 2 this weekend coming up for Jameis Winston. A little bit better for him. That's what we expect. We'll see how it goes. All right, Ryan's got the morning update. Cavs! We're cashing on some Cavs, baby.
Yeah, we are.
Love it. They're in action tonight. Is it the Knicks?
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes, it is.
Spicy. Plus, we got Monday Night Football. We'll go around the league tomorrow, but Ryan, it's a pivotal game for you and I tonight. It's going to make or break for above 500 for the week.
Oh, wow.
Had some scrappy games over the weekend, but we'll get some Monday Night Football tonight. We'll get to our Cavs plays as well. Morning update, fresh week for the grid. Timeout bracket, we got it all. Hour 2 upon us right here. Fontana Show on Big Play. Folks, download the brand new Big Play app. Boom! Done! Right there for you. You can see our interview last week with Brett McMurphy, which was what was that?
Yeah, we'll get into it.
Oh, it was Blake. Love it. But what did I tell you on Friday? I love Nebraska plus 25. There you go. So done and done. All of our shows are there, including the Jameis Winston food tours. That's all up there. They went to Swenson's after the game last night. Go download the Big Play app. Check it all out there. You can also check us out on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We're on YouTube. Just search Big Play. Now, Twitter, we all have individual accounts for the shows. YouTube, just go to Big Play Network. Instagram, just go to Big Play Network. It is all there for you. We've got some new content coming your way. New basketball show. Now, new in a sense, Booby is back.
Yes, I believe Thursday.
Rafa is back. But there's a new member of that show. Coming up this week, talk a little bit of hoops, so I love that very much. And some new horse racing content, which I'm excited about. Talking track. Ready to debut on the Big Play Network. I'm a part of that show. Ryan is a part of that show. So we got it all cooking for you right here in Big Play. But don't forget tonight, our biggest night, our biggest day. Hanford Dixon, come get some Blake and Greg Williams. And the Big Play Cleveland show tonight with who else? Other than Jameis Winston. They win him on. So Jameis is a part of us here at Big Play. And the whole thing Jameis wanted to do, he likes food. So they took him to a bunch of different places to try food. Bro, he went to Swenson's last night. Galley boy.
Yeah, I'm hungry.
French fries. Can I tell you one of the greatest weddings that I ever went to? My sister-in-law's brother. I don't know what that would be to me. They're from the area. His wife's from Akron. Went to their wedding. It's beautiful. Akron Art Museum. And we're sitting there and we're having a great time. We're dancing. So, at weddings, how they do like a snack. Everybody's had a few beverages. They have a snack. Bro, they got the Swenson's food truck to come for a midnight snack at a wedding. This is, I've known this a long time, but you know how I know my wife was the one? We get on the bus to go back to the hotel. And she's sitting there holding her purse, and she pulls a French fry out of her purse. I go, "What are you doing?" And she goes, "Oh, I stuffed French fries and burgers in my purse for the hotel room." And I go, "Yes." That's why I married you. I'm like, yes. She's the best. Swenson's with Jameis Winston tonight on the Big Play Cleveland show. You can't miss it there. All right, let's catch our break. Plenty to get to. Hour 2. Stay with us. Fontana Show right here on Big Play.
I'm Garage Beer, and this is Bobby Carpenter.
Garage Beer. Beer-flavored beer.
Beef with an F? Okay, my bad. It's crisp and cool, and it doesn't taste like ass. I'm Bobby Carpenter. I drink in garages because my wife says I don't belong inside. If you like a cold breeze on your bag, drink Garage Beer. It's American, and so can you. Garage Beer. Beer-flavored beer.
Well, how do they know I'm doing this? Did somebody leak this out?
It's social media.
Oh.
It's just, that's the way social media works now.
I thought maybe you were just running that yap.
Even though our strength of schedule is number 1 in the NFL, I think we have the dogs up front. We have the dogs in the back. As it relates to our defense alone keeps us in these games. Not even talking about offense. Let's just say Deshaun Watson isn't there. We got dogs on the defensive side that's mirroring the potential of the Ravens from 2001 or 2000 Ravens with Jamal Lewis and the boys and Ray Lewis and those guys.
Right.
They won. Again, no disrespect to Trent Dilfer. But they won without a high-powered offense.
I don't buy into this nonsense, this conspiracy nonsense that he's got his money and he's dogging it. That's ridiculous.
They're off in the Kentucky Derby.
as Authentic takes them around the far turn. Tis the Laws making his move now, and they're into the stretch. These two stride for stride. Authentic, tis the Law. Here's the wire. Authentic has won the Kentucky Derby.
All right, here we go. Morning update on a Victory Monday, which always feels so sweet. Welcome back, Fontana Show. Follow us on Twitter, X, at Matt Fontana Show. Subscribe to Big Play Network on YouTube and Instagram. We're also on Twitch, if anybody's interested over on that side of things. Ryan's got all the stories. I'm not going to lie, Ryan. So a lot of times, Ryan does the morning update, does a fantastic job with it. And there's sometimes I'll tell you, hey, make sure to bring the story up or not. There's a couple stories I got, floating around here. I want to see if you get them up or not. We'll see how it goes. But anyway, he's got the morning update. Plenty to come here in hour 2. But first, morning update. Ryan.
All right, well, of course, we have...
Not that story. No, I'm just kidding.
No, you... Well,
Go ahead.
I don't even know how I was going to word it. But, of course, as we talked about all morning, the great Jim Donovan, longtime voice of the Cleveland Browns, passed away after a prolonged battle with cancer. Matt, you gave a wonderful tribute to Jim this morning, and I know all of the city of Cleveland is mourning the passing of a wonderful man.
Yeah, and that's just it. He was a wonderful person. He really was. And he was awesome at his job. And we all feel a connection with the play-by-play people of our favorite teams. That's why we love Hammy. That's why we love John Michael and Austin Carr and Underwood and Rick Manning and Andre. And that's why you feel the closeness of them, right? Football is so different where there are no local TV people, right? It's just Jim and Deke and Nathan. That's it. And that's why I think Andrew Siciliano's doing a great job. Tough spot for him, as we all knew. I think he's doing a great job. But that's the connection that you have with a person that I think most people know. Jim was not a lifelong, he wasn't born here, right? But he became a Clevelander. And he immersed himself here in Cleveland. And I heard so many stories from Mary Kay and Tony and people that had known Jim for literally decades. They go, he had a choice. He could have left. He could have left. He could have somewhere. He loved being here. He loved being a part of our community. He made Cleveland his home. And we loved him for that. And we always will. And when, yesterday getting that news and the win, and people bring up Nev and Gibb and Casey Coleman, and unfortunately, Fred McLeod, and they're just so ingrained in us because they wanted to be here, because they were a part of our sports fabric. And unfortunately, the only regret that I have is that I wish I could have done something to help Jim call better games or been there for Super Bowls. He deserved that. But you never heard him complain about it. And it's like Jim, Mary Kay was talking on the pregame yesterday, and she goes, Jim knew everything, man. And he knew that line of what to report versus what needed to be reported and really knowing everything. And he was that conduit. And the one thing, maybe more than anything, outside of just him, the person, Jim kept it real, And I think that's where we would have known. We would have called him a phony if he wasn't. Like, we would interview Jim. Back when I was at ESPN Cleveland, Jim would come on with us a lot. And if it was a bad game, Jim came on and he said, that was a bad game. They didn't do this. They didn't do that. Like, he never sugarcoated it. And the Browns appreciated that from him, as did the fans. Where it'd be easy to be up there and be a mouthpiece. He was not that ever. Ever. And it's one of the many reasons that we love Jim Donovan. And his legacy will carry for a long time. And again, it's different because, again, there's generation that remembered Nev and Gibb Shanley and all the other great broadcasters that we had here in this town, and Jim joins that list. And it's not that he was higher than anybody else. It's just, he's Jim Donovan. his legacy is of his own, right? Of who he was as a person. And again, I'm lucky. I'm so lucky to be able to say that I knew Jim just stand on the sidelines in Berea, just watch him practice. And he had a wicked sense of humor, man. He was so funny. And he was really a good person. And I was thinking about this a lot too this weekend, Ryan. You know, you always hear people when they say don't wait or don't. I had a conversation with Jim. This was a long time ago. And I remember saying to him, I said, hey, Jim, you know, I'm in play-by-play. I was doing high school games, and I never really told him that I wanted to be Jim Donovan one day. That was always my dream, and frankly still is. And I remember he told me, he goes, we should go get coffee one time, and I'd love to talk play-by-play with you. I never did. And that's selfish of me, you know, to sit here and be angry that I never did that. I never called him. And I said, hey, man, we should go get coffee. I just love to talk to you. And again, that tells you about Jim. I was, I think, 26, 27, just some young snot-nosed kid. And he goes, I'd love to talk play-by-play with you. And I said that. I go, Jim, I love it. And just how you prep all these things. And he goes, Matt, tell me. We'll go get coffee. We'll do it. But that tells you all you need to know about Jim Donovan. You saw the tributes pouring in. He was the absolute best. And again, I want to make note, too, for people that the Browns are going to send out information for his celebration of life. Like, there's going to be opportunities for people to get out there and be together in this. And I said, here, I meant to do this. Join the registry. So this, I mentioned this in hour one. If you're looking for a great way to honor Jim Donovan, go to nmpd.org. That is joining the bone marrow transplant registry. And I did this a couple of years ago. They send you a swab the inside of your mouth, you send it back, postage is free, and every year they just ask you if you'd like to be on the transplant. It's not about organs, it's not being an organ donor, they're not going to come call you about a kidney. It's just a bone marrow transplant. That could save somebody's life. Jim had to have a bone marrow transplant a couple years ago, so I would really highly recommend, if you can, and if you're willing to, do what I did, sign up for the bone marrow registry list, and you could really save somebody's life. I think that's a great way to honor Jim Donovan. I really do.
Alrighty, well, the Cavaliers remain undefeated 3-0 after they destroyed the Washington Wizards on Saturday night, 135-116. Donovan Mitchell pours in a game-high 30 points.
Slow
Darius
start.
Garland and Jared Allen both with 23 points. Tremendous shooting night.
We need to start remembering this for our parlays. I said Garland going to start heating up here a little bit. Mobley maybe a little slow after that opener, but dude, Cavs. All right. I love it. I love seeing that. It's hard because it's like you want to compare it to like JB Bickerstaff and like what was going on there. But bro, I'm seeing different basketball. I'm seeing you have 3 games played. You scored 135 in 2 of those 3 games. Now, that wasn't happening last year. That was not happening last year. Now, do the Pistons and Wizards suck? Yeah, but I don't, and the Raptors certainly do too. So what? You're beating the teams you're supposed to beat. And again, there's going to be a game you're going to have to play defense. I understand you're going to have to play defense eventually. Keep pouring it in. We'll figure it out from there. Tonight, 7:30, Madison Square Garden. This can't be a national TV game. It's Monday Night Football. Knicks a 2-point home favorites. We'll get to our play a little bit later. Love what I see out of the Cavs. Keep scoring. Defense will still be there as well. And I just like that's not all on Donovan Mitchell. You know, let Darius Garland keep shooting, man. Let him keep scoring. Jared Allen, those lobs that he's still been able to get from Garland and crew. I love where the Cavs are at, man. I love it.
Alrighty, well, the Ohio State Buckeyes win their 6th game of the season. The Cornhuskers gave them a run for their money. Ohio State takes the lead with 6 minutes, 4 seconds left in the 4th quarter. They improved to 6-1, 4th-ranked team in the country map. But Nebraska and Matt Rule almost gave the Buckeyes a scare.
Raiola's good, man. He's good. But that is your graph. You blank around and you will find out. Ohio State looked like they were just going to roll the footballs out and go on and beat out Nebraska there. That's not how that goes. You got out of it with a win. That, style points at this point doesn't really matter. It's all about your record. We talked about that with Brett McMurphy last week. Go back to our YouTube page. Check that interview out. Go to the app. The thing that shocked me the most was we just didn't run the football. Or at least didn't run it well. But Henderson and Judkins both had 10 carries in that game or something like that? If you're going to need Will Howard, who only threw 16 passes, it was just bad. Ohio State played a poop game. All right. Thank God Nebraska didn't capitalize on that. And eventually, talent just won out there, and you got the win. You escape it now. Boy, do I like to crap on James Franklin and the Penn State Nittany Lions. And listen, did you see that clip of him last week walking out of the interviews?
No.
So there was questions about something that happened with a player. They asked me a question about it. Just start it.
About the game?
Yeah, no, about this player situation they had at Penn State last week. Just start your thing. Like, James, let me ask you about these players.
Matt, can I please ask you about these players?
He got up and he walked out. Then he came back, asked me again. He got up and walked away again. Douchebag. Now, he came out on Saturday and he goes, yeah, that was a mistake and I should have handled it better. You think? I can't stand James Franklin. I really can't. But you gotta...
Is this the year to beat Ohio State?
No, Ryan,
and
no.
Ryan Day's
No. I like Drew. Good for Drew Aller, and whatever. Now, I hate that it's at Beaver Stadium. That's a tough one.
They might win.
What is this, 2 versus 4? No, 3 versus 4. That's it.
They might win, Matt. What are you going to do if that happens?
What do you want me to do?
I want you to say that James Franklin is a great coach.
Do that on Monday. If they win a week from today, they ain't winning. They ain't doing it. But you got that set up. Good for Ohio State. You got out of it. Okay, fine. They were sleepwalking. Sorry, they woke up.
Lastly here, at least for what I have on the morning update, I know you have another story you want to get to, but Chicago Bears cornerback Tyreek Stevenson apologized Sunday night after he was seen taunting the Washington crowd. This was just seconds before Jaden Daniels' miracle Hail Mary that gave them the win over the Bears. Tyreek Stevenson had his back turned to the line of scrimmage when the ball was snapped. He was late to getting into the play, and then worst of all, it was him who tipped the ball to Noah Brown that ended the game.
So coaches tell you everybody gets a man. So first off, you have more defenders than receivers. If you rush 3, an offense has 6 guys back there, the lineman and the quarterback. At best, they have 5 guys running down there. You should have 8, okay? So number 1, they tell you, bat the ball down. When it comes to you, slap it down. Don't slap it up. But the other thing, the mistake, and I don't know about Stevenson, was he really that far out of the play? Not necessarily. I get why it's a bad look and all that. Where was the guy that says Noah Brown is my guy and I need to stare at him, so if the ball gets tipped up, I'm staring at Noah Brown, I can knock it away from him? That's bad coaching. That's really bad coaching, shockingly, on the side of the Chicago Bears. And I say that laughing and sarcastically because I think Matt Eberflus sucks. I think he's a really bad coach. That was a coaching moment. Now, did the players not execute when they really needed to? Was that electric from freaking Jane Daniels who chucked that 65 yards or whatever to get it to the end zone? Absolutely. But that's bad coaching is what that is. Still a really fun game, though, because, again, yeah, the Bears had to score late, scrappy, and it's like, okay, does your mind not wander a little bit as a Browns fan going, man, if we could only get a guy like, Jane Daniels and Caleb Williams, but that's the excitement again about finding a rookie quarterback. It's like finding love again, right? We've been hurt, we've been trampled upon, stepped on. Find me a rookie that I can put all my effort towards and believe that maybe he can beat CJ Stroud, maybe he can beat Jaden Daniels. I hope to get there. I hope to get there again. The Browns are going to take their swing at a quarterback. I hope they find one, but that was a fun game, and you know those guys are going to be doing it for a long time coming up. Great football game, is a couple of ones. The only thing I didn't know if you were going to bring up or not was Anthony Richardson. Woo!
Wait, so what happened with him?
He tapped himself out of the game while he was healthy. He threw a touchdown. It's like 9 out of 17. He goes, I'm tired. And he goes to the sideline, and he goes, I'm out. Could you imagine a quarterback being healthy and just coming to the sideline and go, I'm out?
I was way too tired from the Browns game after I went straight home and fell right asleep.
That's good for you. Good for you. But that's not great. Not good about Anthony Richardson. There's some real questions about that with Joe Flacco and all that kind of stuff. But
was he entirely gassed?
Yeah, he said he was tired. Tired.
Well, if he's gonna fall over.
No, that's a bad look. That's a really, really bad look. I just want out of this. You think your offensive linemen gonna pull themselves out? You know, I know receivers change in and out. They think that was a big signal to them about the Colts of just where Anthony Richardson's mental state is at right now.
And again, we talk about I want to find C.J. Stroud, Jaden Daniels, Caleb. Can have that.
Yeah, I'm an Anthony Richardson.
I know you are, and I thought he was going to be really good too. But sometimes things like that, man, can just change everything. You start questioning, God, who knows? All right, I have a lot of questions. How are we going to do on the grid? Let's go! Day one of the Immaculate Grid. I can't see it. I'm assuming you have it.
Yeah, I have it.
Okay, I'm just going to pull it up over here. All right, here we go. You know how it goes. Ooh. I feel like the Bucs give us some problems. I don't know why. All right, you know how it works. Up and down, left and right, 5 days in a row, and you get a prize. Missed it last week on just an atrociously bad gaffe. But we're back. Let's go. Fresh week. Go, right.
First round draft pick for the Giants.
Eli Manning.
Yeah, he got drafted by him. So no,
the
I know.
Chargers. Then he got flipped.
But was it not technically though the Giants had drafted him?
No, the Giants.
No, I know. I thought.
No, I think they officially got traded for one. Just go Kayvon Thibodeau. Right? Yeah. Or Odell, or Saquon Barkley. Any of those.
Bucks. I mean,
Mike Evans. Jets. Mark Sanchez. I mean, I don't care. Yeah, Quinn Williams.
I'll do Mark Sanchez. Okay. Was he a first round pick?
Pretty sure, yeah.
Are you positive?
I don't. No.
Then I'll just go Sauce Gardner.
That's fine. All right, here we go. Let's open it on up.
Vikings, Giants.
All right, I'm just thinking quarterbacks here. Mike Glennon for the Bucs has got to work. I don't think he works for either the Steelers or the Vikings. Tyrod Taylor. Why do I want to think that he played in Pittsburgh? But that's not right. There's no way that's right. Colt McCoy, no.
Is Buccaneers Steelers? Is that not Vance McDonald?
That's a deep cut for you. I don't know. I have no idea. Sure. I really.
Oh, we can also do Antonio Brown. Did he play for Bucks? Or am I tripping?
Bucks Steelers, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
He played for the Bucks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, with Brady.
Yeah. That's the game that he walked off. Remember, he started taking all his stuff. Did he work for the Jets too, though?
No, that was against the Jets.
Oh, that's right. It was against the Jets. So Antonio Brown works there. I should be filling these up. I know where we're at. That's fine. All right, Mitch Trubisky doesn't work for any of those other two, talking about the Steelers. Sam Darnold, Jets, Vikings. Steelers, Jets. Again, two legacy program.
Le'Veon Bell.
Le'Veon Bell is your answer. Well done. So I'm not filling in it. We have all four of the bottom left done, right? So all I have to do is Giants across the top, right? Or do we have Bucks, Vikings?
We have Bucks, Vikings.
Bucks, Vikings. Okay, Leonard Fournette never went to the Vikings. Dalvin Cook never played for the Bucks. Oh, Adrian Peterson, didn't he play for the Giants? No, am I misremembering that? Maybe not. No, not good enough to rip it. That's fine. Okay. Oh, I'm starting to get into some kickers now. Like Greg Joseph, I know kicked for the Vikings. I think he kicked for the Giants, but I don't know that for sure. It doesn't help us with the Bucks, obviously. Okay, Jameis never played in Minnesota, right? No. Okay.
Fitzpatrick, did he ever play in Minnesota?
I don't think so. No, I don't think so. Josh Johnson, I know, played in Tampa. And I think he did play in Minnesota, but let's save that as our Hail Mary. We get to. You want to go up to the Giants? You want to ace out the Giants here and get that done? All right. Odell doesn't work across the top there.
No, Victor Cruz, I don't think
Victor
so.
Cruz, no. David Tyree.
Mario Manning, man.
Did Justin Tuck go to the Steelers at the end of his career. I don't. Strahan doesn't work.
JPP. I don't think so.
No. Again, I think I want to say Greg Joseph for the Steelers. I'm sorry, for the Vikings and the Giants, but I don't know for sure. Allen Robinson never played for the Giants. Cordell Patterson never played for the Giants.
Man.
Mario Manningham?
I said that.
Did you? Sorry, I wasn't paying attention.
I don't know if that's it.
Jeremy Shockey didn't play at either one of those spots. Bro.
This is tough.
I know. All right, well, again, because Eli Manning was there for so long, it eats up, like, you know, your quarterbacks that you normally.
Dominican Sue never played for the Vikings.
No.
Sean Jackson never played for the Vikings, did he?
I don't think so. Brandon Cooks, I don't think fits anywhere in here.
Stephon Gilmore never played in New York or...
No. Hawkinson, no.
Yeah, Giants Steelers.
Yeah, that's... Like Larry Ogunjobi, no. James Harrison, I don't think so.
Angelo Williams.
No. Did I even start the timer? I did. Okay. You got 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Steelers. Charlie Batch, Tommy Maddox.
Christian Ponder ever played for New York or Tampa?
Yeah. Yeah, he played in Tampa. Yeah. Yeah. He did. Yep. Christian Ponder. Yes. Right?
I know he played in Minnesota.
Yeah, I Tampa, yeah, right?
Did I rip it?
Rip it. I can't see it. Did it work? No! That's because it was Blaine Gabbert.
Oh, man.
So Wordle we go. I really need to see Wordle. I don't know.
True. Just pull it up and type in the same words.
Okay, fine.
You know?
Yeah.
What do we want to start with?
I don't know. Group. I don't know why group. GROU. Group. Done.
Nope,
Okay. Nothing. Okay. What about... I mean, I thought about T's.
E's and A's. What about... What about heels?
What?
Heals. Heels.
Okay.
You got an A. It's not in the middle.
All right. What about TA? TAN? TAM? I don't know why. I'm just starting with TA. I feel like that's how it's got to start. But let's do this. MA.
MANIC. Manic.
Manic? All right. All right. The A is in the right place. So I think it's TA. D. We're also leaving out it could be 2 T's. No. T-A-D? T-A-B? All right, let's go B-A-T. No. Could be 2 A's, too, which are K-A-T... W-A-T-W-A-T. Not water, obviously, we don't have the E, the R. I don't know, vowels. What the hell are we doing?
Can't even make a word.
I know. That's why I think there's got to be another A in it. B-A-T-A... K-A-T-A... Okay. I want to do something with a T. We got to figure out about this T.
Fatty. F-A-T-T-Y.
Try it, I guess. I want to see about the T's.
No T's, but it does end with a Y.
Okay. So then J-A... There's got to be 2 A's. Right?
No, not necessarily.
D-A... Dabby? That's not a word, I doubt. I think it might be something A-B-B-Y.
A-B-B-Y?
Something like Jabby, no, you know what I'm saying? Like, I guess maybe not. We have so many letters we have left. B-A... Batty? B-A-D-D-Y?
Batty?
Yeah, B-A-D-D-Y. That's the best I got.
All right, what is it? B-A...
B-A-D-D-Y. Batty.
All right, I've eliminated the B and the D.
Yep, I hit it already. Ow! Did you hit it?
So it's B-A blank D-Y.
B-A...
Body? B-A-W-D-Y? The word?
I don't know. Wait a minute. I'm giving us the win. What word fits in there? With the letters that we have left. K?
B-A-W-D, body? Is that a word?
I don't know.
Should I try it?
No. I don't think that's a word.
Well, then it won't go through.
I literally, of all the letters that are left, there's no words that fit that.
I'm trying body.
All right.
It's a word, and it's the right word.
It's the right word. Okay. Done and done. Done and done.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means either. I really have no idea what that means. But here we are. So, all good. All good. All right. You want to jump to timeout real quick, and then we'll get to our plays for tonight, Monday night in the Cavs?
Body. Dealing with sexual matters in a comical way.
Okay. I literally have never heard that. Oh, good one from Mike. Plaxico Burress for the Giants and the Steelers. Plaxico Burress. Yeah, that's a good one. Forgot about him. What happened? Was he the guy that... Did he shoot himself?
Plaxico Burresses. Yeah, I think he shot himself in the foot.
That's it. Was it like in his pants or something? Plaxico Burress. I forgot about him. All right, let's do this. Jump time up. Then we'll get our wages for tonight. Let's do it. Let's roll. All right, let's head on back. Tell you what happened this day in history. You're on the 28th of October, right around the corner. Halloween. Let's roll. 2 years ago today, the Browns signed Charlie Hewlett to a long-term 4-year extension. I know he's hurt right now. Long snapper, one of the best gigs to probably get. Shout out to Charlie Hewlett. He's the man. Also, this day, 2022, Tom Brady and Gisele Bündchen finalized their divorce.
Oh.
Now, he didn't get all that TV money till after that, right?
I don't know.
I don't know. Do you remember Ty Lue? He was going through a divorce, and the team waited to give him his big bonus until it was finished out. That's a dirty world. I hope I believe I will never have to deal with that. But like, you know, how do you sit down with all that money? I guess that's why these lawyers make all that money. Sit down and be like, we have all of this crap, and it wasn't all just from Tom Brady. Like, I guess that maybe makes it easier, right? She's like, oh, I paid for this, or he paid for that. But it's all done. And literally, now I tweeted this when it happened. I go, he's married to the game. Literally, he'd rather give up his family and his kids to go play or commentate or own a football.
Valid.
Teach their own, man. Hey, man, that's what he does. He's married to the game. Here's a sad one. Obviously, I know we're all memorializing Jim Donovan and missing him very much. Mike Trevisano passed away this day, 2021. That was another one. When I got that news, I go, oh, my gosh. Like, you know, I'm speaking just as a Clevelander of, like, radio people in this town or media members in this town. Like, I don't know if there's anybody bigger than Triv. You know, Triv started out as a caller. He just literally would call all day. I don't know if it was Pete Franklin. I don't know who he called, but then he eventually became, I would dare, I mean, like, I know, and obviously working with Riz for as long as I did, I think RBS is somewhere on that history of, like, the best shows that this town has ever seen. But, like, you know, Riz started with Lanigan and Malone, and I remember them growing up, like, all the incarnations of that show, but Triv's show was a monster. But he unfortunately passed away this day, 2021. Cavs fired Ty Lue this day, 2016, after an 0-6 start. They showed Ty Lue the door. I still like Ty Lue. Obviously, I think he's a really good coach. He's got a dumpster fire now with the Clippers, doesn't he? But that was one. I think they made the mistake trying to sell him on keeping through the LeBron rebuild when it's like, let him go do his other thing. Like, we need to clean house on all that. You know, I think that's where, I don't want to say the same thing happened with JB Bickerstaff, but I think the NBA is built that way. You get a coach to take you through the rebuild, and then I think there is a level of another coach to take you to the play. Mark Jackson and Steve Kerr are the biggest example of that, you know, with the Warriors. But I think there's an element of that. I don't think Ty Lue's a rebuild type of coach. He's a championship type of coach.
What year did they fire him?
They started 0-6. And they just, like, there was all this contentiousness about
in
2018. So LeBron was gone. LeBron left.
You said 16.
Oh, no,
That's why I was so
2018.
confused.
No, they started 0-6.
Right, okay.
And then they fired him. Because you know the other thing I remember about that offseason? Remember Tristan Thompson came out and he goes, well, we're not taking this year and we're going to try. And it's like, okay, really? Like, they thought that they were going to be competitive after LeBron left. That was not going to happen. And I think they just made the mistake of trying to keep Ty Lue around. But again, he's a really good coach, and I think I get where they're trying to go, but they fired him this day, 2018. This day, 2018. The Browns fall to the Steelers, 33-18. James Conner ran for $146 and 2 touchdowns. There were reports after the game that both Hugh and Todd Haley would be fired. I think they were. Was it not right after that game? Hang on. They would fire him the next day. So we played them Sunday. Reports came out they were going to get fired. We'll do that in Time Hop tomorrow. They got fired. Would be fired next day. There you go. This day, 2016, Game 3 World Series. We beat the Cubs 1-0. Coco Crisp had an RBI double in the 7th. Josh Tomlin, Andrew Miller, Brian Shaw, and Cody Allen combine to shut out the Cubs on 5 hits. You know the other crazy thing about this day, 2016? That was the first World Series game at Wrigley Field in 71 years. Wow. 71 years. This day, 2016. This day, 2012, Browns beat the Chargers 7-6. The only touchdown was a Trent Richardson first quarter rushing touchdown. And we beat the Chargers this day, 2012. This day, 1970, the Cavs played their first ever home game. We started the season on a 7-game road trip. We lost to San Diego 110-99 this day, 1970. This day, 1965, the St. Louis Arch was completed. Never been, don't really care. Like, I don't know. Is there a what's the word I'm looking for? Like, what's the St. Louis Arch and like Empire? Is there like not a monument, like a, what's the word I'm looking for?
A monument.
But like, not that. Like a
architectural feat.
Something you want to see. You'd want to go see the Eiffel Tower. You want to see the St. Louis Arch. You want to go, I don't know, Golden Gate Bridge. What are those called?
Monument.
I guess.
I think I know what you're thinking, and I don't know if I'm letting the word escape me as well.
Monument synonyms. Memorial statue. No. God. I guess monument.
Yeah, I think.
I guess that's like, but that's not the word I'm thinking of, though. Some sources consider it to be the tallest human-made monument in the Western Hemisphere. It's built as a monument to the westward expansion. It's dedicated to the American people, and it's internationally recognized as a symbol of St. Louis. It's all stainless steel, built in the form of a weighted canetary arc, which is the world's tallest arc, and Missouri's tallest accessible structure. The Gateway Arch completed. Somebody help me out. YouTube or somebody on Twitter. It's not monument. It's not the word I'm looking for. It's another one. I don't know what it is. We'll find it out. This day, 1919, Congress ends prohibition. I guess a good idea. Look at where we're at today, though. You know, like weed's legal everywhere, like garage beer. It's all great. It's all good. This day, 1886, from one monument to another, Statue of Liberty was dedicated this day, 1886. You ever been to? You ever seen it?
No, I have not.
It's a lot bigger than you think it is. For as big as you think the Statue of Liberty is, it's bigger than you think. It's a lot bigger than you think. This day, 1636. Here's your trivia for today.
What year?
1636.
Okay.
The oldest higher learning institution in the United States was founded this day, 1636. What is the oldest higher learning institution in the United States?
1636. Oxford?
No.
Okay.
Close.
Is it an Ivy?
Yeah, you knew it had.
Harvard?
Harvard is correct.
Okay, I was going to say that, but I didn't
Harvard.
think. Okay.
Harvard, 1636. Very happy birthday goes out to a couple former Cavs coaches, Lenny Wilkins and Randy Whitman, former Cavalier Jarrett Jack, Julia Roberts, Bill Gates, Joaquin Phoenix, Brad Paisley, and Charlie Daniels. Devil went down to Georgia. You know, I've met Charlie Daniels. I got a photo op with him one time. Nice guy. And then today is National First Responders Day, so shout out to all those first responders out there. And National Chocolate Day. What's your favorite chocolate? Milk chocolate. See, dark chocolate is ass.
No, I love dark chocolate.
I hate dark chocolate. I know it's supposed to be healthier for you.
I love dark chocolate.
But I hate it. I can't stand it. I don't really have too much like movies or TV shows for you today. I'm not even gonna really have you guess. You ready? Eminem released "Lose Yourself" this day, 2002. God, 2002? Holy cow!
Long time ago.
22 years ago. Wow. Huh. Legend of Zorro, like that crappy remake with Antonio Banderas. What else? Crikey, it's the Irwins, their spin-off show from a couple of years ago. And then Puss in Boots, the animated one, 2011.
Nice.
Saw 2, 2005. Those are all the movies I wasn't really going to have you guess on, but that's all right because that's where we're at. All right, ready to go. Cavs, 2.5-point road dogs tonight against those Knicks. Knicks, what do you make of the Knicks? And I maybe I'm coming from like a jaded spot where like I really thought they were going to like be world. And again, it's like they're off to an okay start.
Yeah, 1-1.
Yeah. They beat the Pacers. They lost to the Celtics. Cavs, 2.5 tonight. So, all right, let me, because there's not much to read into for this. So they lost the Celtics 132 to 109. Then they beat the Pacers 123 to 98. So it's like tough for me to like be able to tell a defense or offense on this thing. I'm leaning towards the over on this. So let me get to the Cavs here for you in a second before we get to Monday Night Football. Oh, crap. I got to pull up my Monday Night Football. Real quick, bracket of the week, favorite Halloween candy. Make that easy for everybody.
Okay.
You like that?
Yeah.
What would be your vote?
Oh gosh. My favorite Halloween candy, I guess.
It's Reese's. It's Reese's.
I
mean, I'm all for like the whole reason we do the bracket is so we can do like, we'll do 16 and all that kind of stuff. But
sometimes
Reese's are goated.
Sometimes something that hits even harder than a Reese's is a Kit Kat.
A Kit Kat, especially if you put it in the freezer.
Yeah.
And I like Snickers too. Over under's 223 for tonight. Are the Cats gonna win? New York, Donovan, back home, got to show up. Are the Knicks all that good? I think the Knicks are a little flustered. Do this. You're getting plus money, plus 115 on the Cavs. Give me the Cavs, and I love the over tonight.
Okay.
I think the over tonight, right? So let me do that. You want to build a parlay? You want to parlay it up here? 20 from Brunson and Mitchell. You like that? Do you like?
Yes.
Okay. 7 rebounds for Allen and Karl Anthony Towns.
Allen for sure.
Okay. 3-pointers made. 2 from Darius Garland. Do you like that?
I don't love it, but
okay. 2 from Dean Wade. Good value there. 2 from Mitchell doesn't really do anything for me.
Yeah.
All right, I can stay away from it.
Do an Evan Mobley 3.
Assists. 3 assists from Darius Garland. What about 5 assists?
An Evan Mobley 3, bro.
Evan Mobley 3. Okay. All right. Where is he? Show more. Evan Mobley. All right. So I'm already to plus 350. What if I take the over in the Cavs? Or what if I just take the over? Gets me to plus 625. You like that?
Yeah.
Plus the Cavs. Cavs going to win? No? Am I being scared about it? I'll roll with that. I'll do that. All right, I'm in for that. All right, Monday Night Football, the Steelers. I got it at 6.
Yeah, who decided this was a game to...
I don't know. They would love to flex this. Steelers an even 6. I'm just going to tell you right now before I run through anything, it's Pittsburgh. You think I'm trusting the Giants to do anything? No. The over-under's 38. I kind of like the under for that, but I'm taking the Steelers. Pittsburgh at home, under Mike Tomlin, it's on another level. Dating back to 1992, the Steelers are 21-1 on Monday Night Football games at home. Their only loss on Monday Night Football in Pittsburgh was Washington in 2020 COVID.
Yes, and
that's it.
I remember that. That's when the Steelers were like 11-0.
Yeah. Giants are back at home. The Jets and Giants have combined 4-32 straight up playing at night in primetime since 2019. The defense has been great. Dexter Lawrence has been double teamed on 63% of his pass rushes. That's the highest rate any player has faced since 2018. And now the Giants are leading the NFL in sacks with 31. Russell Wilson back in after his first start last week where he provided the spark that they needed. Steelers' second half defense, though, has been one of the best in football. In the second half, the Steelers' defense are allowing 5 points per second half. That's the lowest in the NFL. They have not allowed a single point on the opening drive for their opponent all season in the second half. So they kind of bleed you out in the first half, and then they shut you the F down in the second half. Daniel Jones. Oh, God. Night games in his career. 1-15 straight up. 1-7 on the road. He's only 6-10 against the spread at night games in his career. Let's see if I can get you anything else. You have anything else interested in this game? What do you think? I like the Steelers a lot. I mean, I don't mean to, sway you on this. I guess that's what I do. You taking Pittsburgh too?
Yeah, I'll take Pittsburgh too.
Yeah, there's no way. 6. Pittsburgh has scored over 30 points both times and won by 18 each week in the last 2 weeks. The Giants haven't scored more than 7 points their last 2 games. Kayvon Thibodeau, Andrew Thomas out. TJ Watt feast is what we're going to do tonight. I don't like rooting for the Steelers, but they're going to ace this out. Giants are 1-4 their last 5 games against Pittsburgh. 3-7 the last 10 games on the road in general. Pittsburgh 8-3 straight up in their last 11 games. They've covered 8 out of their last 11 games as well. And as I mentioned, they've kind of owned playing there. Pittsburgh's 4-2 against the spread their last 6 games as a favorite. Pittsburgh all day, get it done. Bracket will be posted, and we're off on a Victory Monday. Great stuff today. Again, it was really hard to start talking about Jim, but if you missed that, please go back, check out those clips. We got it all for you. Monday day, busy day for us. Hanford Dixon tonight. We got the Come Get Some show with the Williams boys. Do not forget, Jameis Winston tonight going to Swenson's for the first time ever. We've got that clip. It'll be played tonight on the Big Play Cleveland show. And don't forget, Bobby Carpenter Daily. Can't wait to see what Bobby has to say following that Ohio State win over the weekend. We got it all for you. Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Check it out there. And we'll talk to you on a Tuesday edition right here, 9 o'clock tomorrow. For Ryan Tyler, I'm Matt Fontana. And as always, take it easy.